And hello, people of the internet. How's it going today? How you doing? This is Billy Bones. This is a walk through the mind. We get to take a couple minutes and throw out some ideas on a topic and see what everybody thinks about it. And today, with the moderately recent news at the time of this recording, there was a ruling about public sector employees not having to pay union dues, in a nutshell. And I figured that was a good time for us to sit down and discuss unions. Unions, they got a good rap and the bad rap. They've been abused in the past, and at the same time, they've done some wonderful things. It just all kind of depends on how we all look at it. You know, we can look at the good between, protecting workers, which is what a union's supposed to do. And the downside to that half is they protect crappy workers. They get, good thing is they get great pay, great benefits in comparison to other jobs of the same field. But that also costs money out of your own paycheck. You have to pay for the union representation. Things cost money. We'll go over that. And then, the other thing is that technically they're a big business. It gets to be kind of a dicey situation. But on the tip of protecting workers and protecting less than perfect workers, I can share a little story on that. There was there's points where in the business world the cards get stacked against you as one of the underlings, one of the blue collar workers all the way at the bottom. We all know how that goes. For me, through a series of events, and it wasn't specifically on purpose, but through a series of events, my work conditions changed. And management's numbers did not change. And I was getting harassed pretty brutally because it looked like, because they changed the work environment, that I was being a terrible employee. And it was outside of my control. And I was following all the rules and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but there's, you're supposed to have that paperwork done 6 hours ago. Why is it 2 weeks late kind of thing? Poor analogy and over-exaggeration, but that's basic, the basic gist of it. And through this ordeal, which is exactly what it was, I questioned my employment. I questioned why I would want to stay at a place like this. And I sat there and I knew that I was in the right, but through the chain of command and through the numbers on paper, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. I was stealing company time. I was wasting their time and energy. And when I tried to get things fixed, the hammer came down even harder. I had again, the management was harassing me. And I'm sitting there thinking that if I were in a non-union job and talking back to management when they were telling me I was in the wrong when I wasn't, I could have gotten fired at any other place. That's kind of very scary. You know you're in the wrong, or you know you're in the right. The numbers don't reflect what's actually going on out there. But I stuck through it. I knew the union would have my back. I knew the negotiated terms of agreement would save me in the end. And it was a rough couple months. But I made it through. Things are better now. But again, it's we'll bounce right over and say, protecting the bad workers, which is the downside of it. I've got a handful of coworkers that I know fool around all day that don't do as much work as I do. And the union protects them as well. And you sit there and you go, they're not doing anything. This is embarrassing. You're hurting my hard work. And we're all supposed to work together. It's a tough job. As a union employee, I don't want my business doing bad. I don't want my employer to go broke or to go under. I want my employer to be profitable, because then it turns around and it puts money in my back pocket. As soon as I abuse the situation, as the stories of the big three over in Michigan, massive stories of abuse of the union and whatnot, will either throw a company under, or the company will be like, we can go somewhere else where people will decide not to join a union, and it's going to cost us less. You got to work together with your company, And the part that, so back to our list of, we've covered protecting workers and whatnot. Great pay in comparison. Her girlfriend's got a job that's non-union, but she's been there for almost 10 years. And she has some great compensation for being there so long. There's a company on the other side of town that's union in the same business, and starting employees have a much better gig than starting employees at my girlfriend's place. And that's a tough choice. She's sitting pretty, but only because she's been there for so long. If she hadn't been there for so long, I'd tell her to jump ship and go to the union. But she would lose money and lose benefits from where she's sitting right now. It's not worth it. And again, everything here comes at a price. Everybody's got to spend their money, because we as the union, their union employees, employ other people to negotiate for us. They sit at the big table, and they do all the lawyer speak, and they do all the really exciting and riveting read the legal paper and agree to this and disagree to that and disagree to this and disagree to that, or agree and agree, or however it breaks down. But we got to pay those people. People don't want to do a job uncompensated. You don't want to go to work and do something and not get paid. So we got to pay for representation. And the problem is that money gets kind of messy at points. And we can break down the money point, paying our union dues, which is, the big reason that I brought this up, is according to a Supreme Court ruling way back in the day, money is equal to free speech. $1 is equal to free speech. And however many dollars is however much free speech. And it sounds kind of, growing up, it sounded kind of messed up that money was equal to free speech. But then looking at this ruling, I'm going to have to say money is equal to free speech. Because if you're going to pay a union, part of it goes to the individuals, but the rest of the money is still going to the business of the union. So it's an entity. It's there to exist, to grow, to make money, to be profitable for itself and its clients. I'm one of the clients. I'm a union member. I would like them to be profitable. It'd be nice to invest in bigger and better things, to like a better union hall, or maybe a company picnic, or however the money is going to be spent. But under the purpose of a business, businesses lobby Congress and state and city governments. Sometimes that's in the best interest of the employees. It's kind of hard for me to argue against that. But sometimes the people lobby for something that you don't agree with. In a basic analogy, maybe you're an oil pipeline union person, and you love your union, you love your company, you work hard for your company, and you need oil, and they want to expand oil drilling north. Simple. We're not getting in depth on this. But in order to go north, we have to employ these other people to go up there and club baby seals. I don't like clubbing baby seals. I think that's horrendous. I would believe it might be horrendous to you as well. And it doesn't necessarily have to be clubbing baby seals. You throw in something else political that makes you feel the same as clubbing baby seals. In these times, anything can be as politically triggering. You don't want to pay money to your union to go up there and club baby seals. You disagree with that. And under the public unions, up until this ruling, you were forced to continue to pay. You said, no, I don't want to be a part of the union. And they said, okay, you have that right. You have the right of association. You have the right to join the union. You have the right to say no to the union. But except in a public union, you were forced to continue to pay a portion of union dues. And I understand the argument of it. Someone's got to get paid for the lobby, for negotiating. But you're still, in a roundabout way, supporting that company that wants to go up and club baby seals. And you disagree with that. You don't want a dime of your money, not even a penny, go into that. And if money is free speech, your union dues are being spent to club baby seals. That's, in a nutshell, where the ruling has come down. continuing on the tainted side of things, we can look at unions as big business. That becomes an issue, especially in this time of the 99% topic and the rich and the poor. It becomes convoluted quick. And under big business, and people at the top make a lot of money, and people at the bottom make not a lot of money. And you can sit there and go, why am I paying so much money for someone to sit in a fancy office and get paid better than what it seems for me to support them? Well, it becomes an issue of the risk-reward system. This person has more responsibility over individuals, for you to keep your job, for you to get decent benefits, to fight the good fight, and more risk equals more reward. If you screw up, you get fired, right? That's under the union side. That's not under the union control, the protection of the business. That's just within the business itself. And we can talk fairness another day, but sometimes you have to fight fire with fire, using big business to fight big business. It's a whole... Your big business has a massive amount of money to lobby and fight against you to make things difficult. Sometimes we all have to pool our money together to be able to go at, the... I don't want to say evil, because it's not necessarily evil, but it's workers' rights. We all want a fair wage. We want fair compensation for the work that we do. Living wage doesn't fall within this. It's fair compensation. How hard you work is how hard you get paid, is how much you get paid. In a nutshell. But I start wondering, after all this, how something like this would work in the white-collar world. Kind of considered this. I've thought about programmers in that dog-eat-dog world. That's a tough gig. Hats off to the programmers. But I don't see unionization as readily available to them, because the supply of people is so much greater. There's a lot more people that can type at a computer, that can do stuff instead of the normal high demand physical labor that a union job entails. Now, I've seen a bunch of office workers on strike and found out that they were union. Never, sadly, got the chance to stop and talk to them, see what it's like. But from what I heard, they were on strike for a month. I would assume that they got what they wanted, or at least some of the concessions that they asked for. But it's a tough gig when you can, again, hire temps. You can hire scabs, people off the street, to come in. You know how to type on a keyboard? Here you go. I don't get that, but it's a tough one. It's tough for everybody to stand up when someone else is hungry and willing to work for a lower price. It's a good deal for the company. But if you want the job done right, you keep your employees as happy as you can. And unions aren't easy to create either. You can't, for starters, you can't unionize. You shouldn't unionize a franchise or a small business. While we have the right to association, unions tack on cost. Increased cost to pay the employees, increased cost in benefits or time off or whatever the compensation is. That comes out of the company's pocket to pay you, the union employee, which in turn you turn around and pay some of that back to the union. It's still money is exchanging hands. You need at least 51% of the people willing to join a union. But even at that, if the other 49% don't want it, and they can hire enough scabs, replacement labor, what's to stop them from doing that? And then you're out of a job. So in all actuality, you need closer to 75, 80% of the people, the employees, pushing for a union. Unions don't always fix the issues. I saw an article not too long ago of a handful of pilots. I don't know where I saw the article. Had joined a union because the union said they could get them some better benefits. The pilots joined, they paid their dues, and after a relatively short period of time, I don't know if it was 6 months, a year, or 2 years, I don't recall, the pilot said this isn't working out for us, and they left the union. The pilots felt they could negotiate better on their own. Reasonable enough to me. You can do a better job negotiating your own contract? By all means, go for it. Now, again, it's a deep conversation. It doesn't end right here. This isn't the be all end all. I don't have a total solution. But I've got ideas. I've got things bouncing through my head. Again, maybe you can take some of these ideas and run with them, or maybe you can take some of these ideas and sit there and go, what the hell is wrong with this guy? There's nothing wrong with that. But either way, I'm Billy Bones. Thanks for taking this walk through the mind with me. You can find me on the Twitters at Billy Bones, BILLYBON3S. I got a website, billybones.com, spelt the same way. I invite you to visit. Check it out. You can reach me on there. I got contact information. Drop me a line. Send me an email. Love mail, hate mail, questions, comments. Send it all. I love you guys.